All right, well, that was a hell of a game, if you ask me. There was a little bit of fuckery in there. I'll definitely say that, but overall was a hell of a game. But I'm not even sure where to start with this one, so I'm not sure. Let's bring up ESPN, and maybe we'll run through the stats. But what I love is that Kansas City had 12 penalties tonight, but the 13th penalty was the one not called, which resulted in Trevor Lawrence's pick. And it was a big pick, honestly, because they were up by a touchdown at that time, turned the ball over around the 23-yard line, and of course Kansas City scored off that. I don't know, man. What I don't like, this is what I don't like about Patrick Mahomes. They run this little pick play on one of their early touchdowns. I don't know. I think it was their second touchdown of the game. They run a little pick play, and they're clearly beyond a yard. I mean, it's close, but they're beyond the yard. I mean, the announcers are saying so. Their little specialist is saying so. And then there's a flag thrown. Okay, so a flag is thrown against the Kansas City Chiefs to prevent them from scoring a touchdown. Okay? So that's fine. But then, Patrick Mahomes has to come up, saying 1-1-1. It was 1 yard. It was only 1 yard. It was only 1 yard. And then they picked the flag up. It's like, honestly, just felt like they were spotting Patrick Mahomes, and it's fucking so annoying when it comes to the Chiefs. Once they start fizzling out a little bit, I just can't wait till they start, not getting the calls all the fucking time in those tight situations. And then, later in the game, they get a big call for them. That's a pretty big swing when you look at things. A touchdown here, an interception here. Who knows what would have happened? The Jaguars might have gone 3-0. We don't fucking know. But still, I mean, if they had put any points on the board, this wouldn't be a game. Anyways, I could go on for days about Patrick Mahomes, and I don't like him. I don't like him, honestly. All he does is bitch and complain. That's all he ever does is bitch and whine for fucking flags and that sort of thing, and I can't stand it, honestly. He's just so fucking annoying. Anyways, good talent. I just don't appreciate the, he's just always a little bit of a crybaby. Anyways, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I could not believe that this is actually a reality right now. 4-1 on the season with a 31-28 win over the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs moved to 2-3. I'm not overly surprised by the Chiefs' record, if I'm being honest with you. I expected them to kind of have a bit of a downslope this year. I mean, it's a bit of a transition year. They're getting older. Travis Kelce's kind of dog shit. But Jacksonville being fucking 4-1, them and the Colts, I wouldn't have predicted either of those teams to be 4-1 after 5 games, and they're both in the same division. So it seems you got 2 good teams in that division. Then you got the lowly Tennessee Titans, who I just had a chance to watch earlier today, how they won that game against Arizona. And I gotta say, one of the funniest things that I've honestly seen was that win. I don't know what's wrong with these idiots that feel like they got to start celebrating before they get in the end zone. Although I will say, I think that the football touched the plane. I think that the football touched the plane. I think you can say the same about Trevor Lawrence on the tonight. He was doing a goal line. He was jumping over the line for the quarterback sneak. And I think he potentially got across that line. Why aren't we using fucking laser beams for this shit, man? They've got that shit in fucking soccer balls. Why can't they put them in fucking footballs, man? There shouldn't be any of this eye, because you look at different angles and it's like, okay, he got in. Okay, maybe he didn't get in. And I don't like that shit. That's a big swing right there, because the ball got punched out, and then the Chiefs went on a 97-yard drive, I think we need fucking laser beams. Anyways, that's not even the first part of what's funny. So, the Cardinals would have gone up 28-6 had their fucking Mercado running back not fumbled at the 1 yard line, more like the 1 inch line, if that. And then the other thing I find hilarious is that fucking Tennessee throws a pick. They throw a pick. They drop the pick, and then I think Tyler Lockett falls on it somewhere in the end zone for a touchdown. So I found that to be a hilarious way for Tennessee to win. I'd actually be kind of pissed off if I was a Tennessee fan, because I would want the loss. I would want that loss. Like, man, right now you'd be like 0-5 with the Jets. There's leverage in picking in the top 2 to 3 slots. You know what I mean? I think they'll still be top 5, but I don't know, man. There's a lot of people that think that this year's draft class is going to be a good one for quarterbacks. So if you were to finish first overall, not first overall, obviously, but first overall for the draft, then you got a bit of leverage. You can really add a lot of draft capital and kind of move forward a little bit. But anyways, back to this game. The touchdown that Jacksonville scored tonight. Sage, did you see the touchdown that Trevor Lawrence scored to win the game? I believe there's 24 seconds left. And they snapped the ball to him. Obviously, that's what centers do to quarterbacks. He falls on his ass. So he falls on his ass, less than 20 seconds left of the game. He gets up. He's intending to throw it out of bounds. Ends up rushing in for a touchdown. But he had fallen on his ass, I swear to God, at the start of the play. And that's how they won 31-28. I'll say a few things about Trevor Lawrence. He needs to be a bit better with the clock management. He doesn't have great clock management. Too many delay of games tonight, and apparently that's been a problem for him all season. He needs to fuck off with that shit, honestly. Get your shit under control. You can't be like fucking hard counting at the 0 when the clock has come. You need to get the ball out. So I think they had 2 or 3 of the delay of games tonight, maybe even one more than that. Apparently it's been a problem all year. I'll say one thing though, I do like his ability to rip the ball. I think he does throw the ball on a rope. He's got a good arm. He's still 26. Now, I'm not sure he's worth the money he's getting. We can get into that some other time. I do like his ability to run for someone who's 6'6", 220 pounds. I do think he's pretty quick. The only thing is, I don't know. I'm just not sure about some of his decisions. I don't think he's necessarily the brightest quarterback in the room. Because I just sometimes feel like he makes his mind up too early to run. I think that you can coach him up as they have been doing. I mean, he had a pretty good game today. 221 yards with a touchdown and an interception. 95.6 rating. He was the leading rusher on the team with 2 touchdowns. 54 yards on 10 carries. I just feel like there's maybe not that. Is this an intangible? Intelligence? That must be an intangible. I say that's an intangible. I don't think he necessarily has the smarts. I think he's got all the physical skills, but I just feel like, and I'm not going to call him a system quarterback, but I feel like you better have this motherfucker in a good system where he's going to be absolute dog shit, in my opinion. And that's kind of proven to be true, I think, over the last couple of years. Patrick Mahomes today, I mean, he had 318 yards. A pretty good game, 91.3 rating. He did have a pick. Very easily could have had a pick at the end of the game as well. He was the team's leading rusher with 60 yards. I don't really think that Patrick Mahomes has been particularly great this year. I think he had a good game today, but I feel like that pick to Devin Lloyd was terrible. That was a big blow. Like, you can't throw a 99-yard interception. That's just gonna, sink your sails a little bit. And then the other one, Eric Murray at the end of the game, I think it was, could have had him. I just don't think. I don't think he's the best, and you guys have heard me say this multiple times. Sure, the Chiefs don't necessarily have the best team, but I don't want to hear those excuses. I mean, I really don't. The Chiefs fall to 2-3. We'll go over who they're going to play next week because I really don't know. But right now, it's looking like it's going to be a tough season. They're going to have to really battle their way in. I still do like their defense. I think their defense, led by Steve Spagnuolo, is a great defense. I'll tell you, Sage, you might want to watch the Travis Hunter catch. It was a 44-yard strike, and it was a hell of a catch that he didn't fumble, taking a huge blow in double coverage. So Travis Hunter impressed me on that play, and on another play, 3 receptions for 64 yards. Didn't really watch too much to see how Travis Hunter performed on defense. Didn't really notice him getting picked apart either, so that's always a good thing. When you're a defensive back, you don't necessarily want to have your name called too much, because that's usually because you're getting gouged. You know what I mean? Brian Thomas, I mean, he was good tonight. This Tyquan Thornton for the Chiefs, 90 yards, 3 receptions. He's a deep, he's got good deep playability. Big body, I don't know. He kind of reminded me coming out of the draft as a bit of a Martavis Bryant a little bit. I like him for the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs got some good receivers. I don't know. I'm tired of people probably saying that he doesn't have receivers. He has receivers and he can shut the fuck up. I guess the next game we got is the Giants up against the Eagles. We'll break that down at a later stream. But for now, I'm really happy that Jacksonville won 31-28 against the Chiefs, given that there was potentially a blown call. Well, there was a blown call that led to an interception. There was potentially a blown call that led to the Jacksonville Jaguars not scoring a touchdown. And then there was potentially a blown call that led to the Chiefs scoring a touchdown. Now, the Chiefs probably scored the touchdown regardless. I just don't like Patrick Mahomes arguing calls. That's enough of Mahomes. Let's turn this bitch over to baseball, and let's take a look at what happened between the Los Angeles Dodgers on the road against the Philadelphia Phillies. It was a close game all throughout, I'll say for the most part. It was a 0-0 game entering the 7th inning. The Dodgers put up a 4 spot, and the Phillies really needed to dig deep. They didn't quite have it. They did lose 4-3 at the end of the day. We'll take a look at the pitching matchup. Like Blake Snell was phenomenal. He had 1 hit allowed. He did have 4 walks, but 9 strikeouts in 6 innings. The bullpen is a problem for the Dodgers, though. Emmett Sheehan an earned run in 2 innings, and this Blake Trainen 2 earned runs, didn't even register an out. That's crucial. They're going to have to be better there. But Sasaki looking pretty good. He closed the fort down a little bit. Feel a little bit bad for Jesus Luzardo. He let 2 guys on. Unfortunately, Kirkering came in, wasn't able to hold any of the runners. Let 4 runs total, 2 of which got charged to Luzardo. Offensively, it was really just the 7th inning that shit happened. Honestly, I know Will Smith had a huge hit where he drove in, I think it was 2. Let me just double check, because they had him hitting 9th, actually. Yeah, he came in, had a pinch hit. It was a single for 2 RBI. Teoscar Hernandez, 2 for 3 today with a walk. Ohtani had an RBI with a hit. And Kike Hernandez was 1 for 4. Or no, wait. Which one's playing left and which one's playing right? All right, Kike Hernandez was the guy with the RBI. Man, 2 Hernandezes on the team, and they spell it with the exact same fucking accent mark above the A. That's going to make it a little tricky there. The Dodgers tried to claw back into it. It just wasn't meant to be, Castellanos had 2 RBI. Trey Turner had an RBI, but the fact of the matter is the Dodgers are up 2-0, and I'd say this series is absolutely over. I do not see the Phillies getting back into it. But again, the Dodgers do have warts with their bullpen, so you never know. They potentially could be able to. And right now, we do have a ball game on that I'm not staying up to go over the entire thing with you guys. It's through 7 right now as we currently talk. 7-3 for Milwaukee over the Cubs. I would say there's a very good chance that the Milwaukee Brewers are going to win tonight's game, go up 2-0, and then potentially win the series. What's kind of fucked up, though, is their starter only went 1 2/3 of an inning, allowing 3 earned runs. So it's not that they came out and did a good job pitching, because they didn't. Mizorowski came in after Mears. He had, scoreless 3 innings, so he kind of settled things down. And so far, the bullpen hasn't allowed an earned run based on 5 pitchers' work. Mears, Mizorowski, Patrick, and Koenig. Who did it for? I just gotta see who did it for Milwaukee. So Andrew Vaughn had a home run. Contreras had a home run. Jackson Churio had a home run. So obviously those home runs are playing. They got 10 hits on the night. I think the Cubs are basically done. I think the Cubs are done tonight, and the Cubs will be done probably after the next game, is all I got to say. So to all you Cubs fans out there, have a nice offseason. All right, so we're going to come back to tomorrow's games, make our predictions, and I don't even fucking know. And well, I do care, but I don't even fucking know. The Mariners on the road against Detroit. Okay. I like Logan Gilbert, 3.44 ERA on the year, up against Jack Flaherty. Had a bit of an off year, 4.64 ERA. The only thing about Jack Flaherty is he strikes out on people at a high rate. You don't necessarily need him to go a lot of innings, but I'm going to take the Mariners to win Game 3. The Blue Jays on the road against the Yankees. I'm hoping this is the game that Shane Bieber kind of puts it all together. He got better for us as he pitched more. He was pretty steady in the regular season. You know, he had a 4-2 record, a 3.57 ERA. He's up against Carlos Rodon, who has a 3.09 ERA on the year. So obviously, ERA-wise, it favors the Yankees a bit. They are at home. So the Yankees will be favored to win the game. The only thing is Bieber, I think, can dial it up a little bit here. I really hope the Blue Jays can win this game because I don't want it to go to Game 4 because Game 4 is slated as a bullpen game where we would have a lot of lefties going. We did not carry Chris Bassett. We did not carry Max Scherzer. And obviously, due to injury, we did not carry Jose Berrios in our playoff roster. So that's not playoff. You change it every round, basically. So it could change next round. But it's a bullpen game for Game 4. And then if Game 5 comes, it would be Kevin Gossman and then Trey Savage coming out of the bullpen afterwards. So I just kind of want to take care of business here. I don't want to get to a bullpen day. To me, that seems really sketchy, so I hope the Jays win. I feel like the Yankees will, but again, Rodon is not better than Max Fried. I think we've had some success against Rodon in the past as well, so we'll see what happens there. I really don't know, and neither do you guys. Let's just face facts. None of you guys know what the fuck you're talking about either. Let's just take a quick look here. Oh, yeah, we need to bring up... I actually want to ask your thoughts, Sage, on... Give me your thoughts on Connor McDavid. Now, I'm not necessarily surprised that he signed a contract extension with the Edmonton Oilers. I think that would be what most people would bet money on. Why only 2 years, $25 million? I'm not talking about how much money he got, but why only the 2 years? Because it feels like if I'm the Oilers, I want to sign him to a 10 or 12-year deal. Like, I want to sign him so that he's on the team the rest. I know you can't do that necessarily there. I want to sign him to an 8-year deal, essentially. So why aren't they signing him to an 8-year deal? So you think he's telling them... So usually when a player signs a short-term contract, right, they're, it's, okay, player, it's a prove-it deal. We're giving you 1 year, prove it, that sort of thing. So you feel like the 2 years is him telling those guys to prove that they're good, and if not, I'm fucking out of here. You think? You're right, yeah. The Oilers would never want it to. They would want the 8 because having the 8 just gives them more flexibility against the cap. Obviously, merchandise and everything would be huge as well. Plus, it gives them a bigger window for being competitive. I was surprised. I saw that and I was just very like, wow. the Oilers kind of dropped the ball on that one. But I guess he wants to see if they can get over the hump. The only thing is I don't necessarily see them getting over the hump stage. I feel like they've kind of peaked. I don't really see them getting better. I don't see them going to the Stanley Cup playoffs for a third straight year, you know? Well, basically, you got 3 years. And what's his age again? How old is he? Is what, 1997 or something is when he was born? So he'd be coming out when he's, what, his age 30, 31 season. So he wouldn't quite be prime. So he'll be 31 at the end of the 3 years. So he'll be in line to want to go elsewhere. So that's where he could be looking for, okay, I'm going to take an 8-year deal at that point. And he'll still have the name where he's still going to get paid max value regardless of whether or not you expect a decline. You always expect a decline at that point in your career, you know what I mean? Like in your 30s, right? So, especially in hockey. But again, I don't know, Jonathan Tavares has been pretty damn good. He's getting up there in age, so you never know, right? It sounds funny to say that I feel like he got a cheap deal, but why does 2 years, $12.5 million a year sound cheap? To me, it sounds cheap. I could be wrong, man, but to me, it sounds cheap. Is it because I'm comparing it to other sports like the NFL, you know, other sports, or why does 12.5 seem cheap? Does he have the highest annual average salary in hockey? Is my question, because I don't think he does. What did the Wild give Kaprizov? I'm not really familiar with what happened there. Okay, so they gave a player that's not as good $17 million a year for 8 years. So again, I need to ask, why is he only getting $12.5 million? It seems like he should be getting 20. He's not Connor McDavid though. He's not McJesus. Connor McDavid should be making more than him. It makes no sense he's getting $5 million less than this Kaprizov guy. Wow, yeah, definitely. So it almost seems like, hey, here's the hometown discount. You guys make sure that we're better or else. So they tried sign Jake Wallman to a 7x7 extension right after. Well, it's nice of him to do them a favor. I don't think it's going to work out for the Oilers. I think they've got as close as they're going to get, and I think they're done like dinner. I mean, I think they'll make the playoffs, obviously. Their goalies are garbage, man. I can't even remember their names when we were covering the playoffs this year. Their goalies are terrible. You look at their goalies and they're backups. They're about as good as a backup. How hard is it to get a fucking goalie, man, that's got over a 90 save percentage? I think we were looking at those guys and they were, what, 893 or something? Who were their goalies' names? It was, one of them was Pickard or something, I think. And one of them had played in the minors for 10 fucking years. Remember me picking on him? Over 90's not hard. It's not going to be like the good old days when you'd have a 93 or a high 92. But, like, you get over a fucking 90, man. Like, it's hard for them to get a goalie. You can't just make a trade and here's 3 first-round draft picks. Go fuck yourself. Yeah, I don't know, man. If Dominic Hasek can have a 937 save percentage and 98-99 when there's a lot of goals scored, some of these guys could do better too, man. A lot of the good goalies' numbers have dipped. Yeah, I know that, but it just seems like Man, oh man, it should be a priority. You should overpay, if anything, for a free agent. Let it slip somewhere else, because you do need to have a goaltender that's serviceable. You can't, unless they've got a prospect in the minors, which would be the best case scenario for them. You need a goalie. Okay, so good goalies do not get traded or hit the market. So that's part of it. It's like they're hanging on to almost like a quarterback in a way. Oh, so they need to figure out. You need to figure out how to start developing. Just take a goalie. Just take a goalie in every round of the fucking NHL draft. I guarantee you one of them will pan eventually. Give it maybe 5 years. Yeah, I forget who the Red Wings got in the trade. It was a pretty good goalie. Why didn't Edmonton do that trade, though, that the Red Wings made? Edmonton's further along than these fucking Detroit Red Wings, who beat us 6-5 in the preseason the other night. Oh, the Oilers were in on John Gibson. Ha! John Gibson. I used to get him back when I played NHL many, many moons ago. Back when he was like a prospect, probably 22, 23. Probably 8 to 10 years ago is when I used to get John Gibson in the video games. And he was good for me. And he developed. And I developed him. It was a good little 1-2 blow. Well, how come they can't get the job done? Are you saying that their GM's a piece of shit that isn't taking care of business, man? Ah, so they don't have the draft capital to pull off some of these trades too, especially since they're going to be ones drafting later in the draft. You know, like 28 to 32, for example, right? Makes sense. It does make sense. You got to have good prospects and good draft capital in order to make those types of moves, for sure. It does pain me to change the subject in a moment. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe tomorrow is the first day of the NHL. Would I be mistaken in making that assumption? All right. Sage, I'm going to need your help to cover it this year. And here's the game plan. We're only going to cover the Detroit Red Wings and the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I'm going to need your help to do so. You mean the EA games suck? Or do you mean hockey sucks? You're going to have to specify, because I don't want to say anything that's unflattering. All right, you give me the tidbits. But yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on the NHL as well. Now, I don't know, other than maybe a quick box score line for each, or maybe I'll just go with the Leafs and you can fill me in on Detroit and any other happenings. Maybe that's a good way to do it. Kind of keep it to a Toronto, Green Bay sort of a theme, perhaps. But I don't mind covering Detroit as well, but they're not my team and I don't know fuck all about them. I just canceled Sportsnet Plus, but I do have a television receiver that I'm going to hook up later tonight. Sage, I don't know if I can have him in the background. Tomorrow is a big day, Sage. Tomorrow is the Blue Jays on the road against the Yankees. There's too many sports on right now, man. This is the peak season of like, oh my God, how the fuck am I going to watch? Oh God, we got the goddamn fucking Toronto Blue Jays in the playoffs. Okay, we've got the Raptors and the goddamn Maple Leafs starting. Oh yeah, we've got the fucking football game on fucking Thursday, Sunday, and Monday. Ugh. Wednesday is a Leafs day. Okay. It's not like there's going to be any trades or anything, so yeah, quick breakdown of the box score is fine. Probably fine anyway, just to keep tabs on them anyway and see how it goes. I don't know. Is Detroit projected to be any good this year, or are they still kind of in transition a bit? So you guys potentially make the playoffs, but it's going to be a tough battle. Well, it seems like it's been a long rebuild for you guys. Maybe John Gibson will take that torch and take you guys to the promised land, though. Maybe he will. It pains me to move on from the NHL because I now have to go over OJ's juicery and the final scores that were this week. I'm extremely disappointed in myself as a man and as a person. I dropped the ball yet again. I have fallen to 1-4 on the season, a position I have never been in before. I lost 284 to 244. If I'm not in last place, I'll be in second last place. Looks like I'll be in second last place. I'm not happy. Let's just put it that way. Tommy Callahan's auto parts won 317.5 to 233 against Tim Tebow's Bobble Club. Thank God for Sage for winning that match. Otherwise, I would be in last place. Don't even want to think about that. Patchwork Pigskins won 360 to 313.5 against Butt Fumble Safety. Butt Fumble Safety was 3-1 entering this affair. Patchwork Pigskin's going to move on up the ladder a little bit. This is a rookie that doesn't know shit about football, and I'm in last place. TD's in your face. Wins 323.5 to 318.5. This is our best matchup. TD's in your face against Hard Count and Net. I'm lost. I'm broken. I'm choking, and I need to figure out. Right now, it looks like Hard Count and Net is going to be in 6th place. And I got to find a way to beat my mother. Otherwise, I'm not getting to the playoffs. And I'm really going to make some trades this week. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm not going to give up on this fight. I will take care of what needs to be taken care of. But at the end of the day, the players on my team, they need to start playing. They need to start playing with a bit more truculence and pugnacity and a bit more efficiency. We need to start putting points on the board. Because I can pick up all the players in the world. You know, I can't polish a turd. If they're going to come in and just fucking turd Ferguson all over my fucking face like O'Marion Hampton did today, then I don't have a chance in hell. I feel good. I hate my team. I'm going to go make a trade. Okay? That's what I'm going to do. Let me just see what Sage said before we take off here. Doesn't help being in a division with Toronto, Florida, Tampa, and Boston. Yeah. It's a pretty tough division. You got that right. It's a pretty tough division. You guys will figure it out in the next 5 to 10 years. You guys ought to figure it out, right? Anyways, I'm open for business. Everyone is available. No one is untouchable. I need to turn this around. OJ's juicery is looking like an absolute fucking murder of my fucking team. Oh, sick. Just fucking sick. Alright, I'll trade you a muffler for a fucking hubcap. How's that sound? Sage believes that no one is safe in our league, and you know what? You might be onto something over there. You might actually be onto something. Anyways, fuck fantasy football, fuck Patrick Mahomes, and everyone have a good night. We'll be back at it tomorrow.